And it's cool because you kind of learn about like Vietnam. You learn about Vietnam. You learn about Vietnamese. Hello everybody, this is Sarah Twilight here on Bookish Productions. If you are new to this channel, welcome. If you're coming back again, thanks for coming back again. So, when I'm making this video, it is getting near the 4th of July, and of course, since every American will tell you this, we begin to feel very patriotic on this day, since it is an American holiday for all Americans to enjoy together. You get the idea. I'm going to be doing a video that encompasses more than just America. You gotta understand, America is made out of a bunch of ethnicities, people from different backgrounds, cultures. It's really quite amazing what we have here. We have people who are from Asia, Australia, Europe, Africa, Antarctica, Central America, South America, islands. People from all over the world come to live in America, and that's what we are made of. So today I'm going to do a video that I believe is actually going to be pretty unique to BookTube. So if you're a BookTuber and you would like to redo this video, please have at it. I think that'd be really fun. So I sent a list of 10 countries to my best friend, Louise Taylor. For those of you who are new here, Louise is the co-owner of this channel and our website. So you'll be seeing her on here. I sent her a list of 10 countries, like the names of, a country. And I told her to email me 5 of those countries. And from each country, I will have to find a book, either in my library or a book that I've read or heard about that is connected to that country or that culture. It can be a book set in that country. It could be a character with characters from that country. It can be a fairy tale retelling from that country, or in a world based around that country. So those are the rules. If you want me to put them in the description, just shoot me a comment and I'll edit the video that way. So I'm going to look at this list on my computer, and I will be back with you shortly. Okay, I am being the strong woman that I am and holding the computer with the email in this hand, which is interesting because my ring light is plugged into this computer, so shaking. So here are the answers by my dear Louise Taylor. Okay, she did. Okay, our first country is England. England. Okay, England. Which is very fitting, especially around this time of year, because, America's story of like starting off as a British colony and then fighting the Revolutionary War against Britain, and eventually becoming allies with Britain in the World Wars. Which is kind of cool. And, that we forgive and forget, things like that. So let me think. Okay, for this one I have Fox, or whatever I'm gonna put it here. Okay, so Fox is set in earlier England, not ancient England, but before our times, around the time of when the Protestants and Catholics were fighting with each other. Just to give you a time frame. Anyway, so in this world, it is our world, but there is something different about it. People are given masks at a certain age, and with those masks, they can control a color. Like, if you can control the color red, like you can control the shirt, my lipstick. If you could control the color purple, I don't think that's it, but you could do my hair. So you get the idea. And some people, there are igniters and keepers. Keepers can only do one color, and igniters choose to do more than one colors through white light, which is very dangerous. So we follow the son of Guy Fawkes, Thomas Fawkes. So Guy Fawkes, if you don't know, he's an actual figure in history. He is someone who led a conspiracy, or he was part of a conspiracy to blow up Parliament, basically. They wanted to kill all of Parliament. And so it is based on that sort of, and it's really a huge analogy for that time in England, because the Keepers and Igniters sort of represent the Catholics and the Protestants and what was going on there. So that's what I'm going to do for England. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that book. Thomas Fox hasn't really known his father, and he is devastated when his father doesn't send him a mask. And he's like, wait, what? No. And so he goes and goes to England, he finds his father, and he's like, yo, you need to give me a mask because I need a color. And the reason he needs a color is something called the Stone Plague is spreading around, and it is in his eye, and he could die. Well, he probably will die, you know. So that's why he needs color, hopefully to get the color gray, to be able to stop it, if you get what I'm saying. So that's our first one. The next country Louise sent back is Russia. Russia is very interesting. I must say, it's a very big country, probably bigger than America. And though we have not always, or we're not on good terms, America's in really good terms with Russia right now, it is still a country with a beautiful history and gave Hitler a run for his money. Like, he literally committed suicide because they were upon him and he didn't want to, be tortured. And even though we've had trouble with Russia, it's still a good, cool country, cool traditions, cool history, cool accents. You get what I'm saying? I figured. Okay, so for this, I'm going to be choosing Shadow and Bone by Leigh, I don't know how her name is, Leigh Bardugo. I think that's how it is. So this is the first book in the Grishaverse. There are many. There's the Shadow and Bone trilogy, then there's Six of Crows duology. There's going to be a third one, I hear. And then there is King of Scars duology. So this is the very first thing, starts it all off. And it is not set in our world, it's set in the fantasy world, but the fantasy worlds that we usually see is like a European kind of fantasy world. Well, this is based on, I think, 1800s Russia. So that's really, really cool in my opinion that she chose that as the base for her magical world. And so there is a darkness spreading in the kingdom of, forgot what it was called. It starts with an R. It sounds a lot like Russia. Ravka. In the kingdom of Ravka, there is a darkness, and they call it the unseen or the nether. I forgot the other name for it. Anyway, so it's spreading. People are freaking out. That's going on. And then there is the thing that's bad about the Unseen is that it is blocking off the rest of the kingdom from other kingdoms, and even from part of Ravka is cut off from other Ravka because of the darkness. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so the Grisha are people who are witches, masters of the small science, which is basically magic, and they are part of the Second Army. So they use their powers for the king, and children at a certain age are tested to see if they have the ability to be a Grisha. And there are different kinds of Grishas. There are Grishas for the water, for air, for wind, for making things, for healing things, for killing things, all sorts of that. And we follow our girl Alina Starkov and her best friend Mal. And Alina goes into the darkness on a ship because they're going to try to get on the other side, and she is a map maker, so they need her. And in a moment of panic, because she's getting attacked by these creatures that live in there, she her power comes out, and it turns out she is a sun summoner and must go to the palace, and she's freaking out. And she's like, what am I going to do? And she meets the Darkling, and he's a guy, she has the power of light, he has the power of shadow. And so she has to kind of learn how to use her abilities. and to hopefully save the kingdom. So that is kind of what this book is about. Let's go on to the next country. The next one is America. I pledge allegiance to the American flag, which this is probably unpatriotic, I don't know. I don't really know our Pledge of Allegiance that well. I know a lot of kids know it because they do like school and they do that, but I was homeschooled, so I just didn't grow up knowing that. It's kind of funny, I used to do Awana, and so we would do the Pledge of Allegiance. And for a while I didn't like to do this because I thought it was like worshiping an idol. My parents had to explain to me that it wasn't like that it was just like something you should do because it's patriotic and all that, supporting our country. And I still don't really remember that. Like, I kind of do if someone gets me started, but I just don't. I remember the Awana flag pledge. I pledge allegiance to the Awana flag, which stands for the Awana's clubs, whose goal is to reach boys and girls with the gospel of Christ and to train them to serve Him. That's kind of sad, but it's the mark of a Christian-raised homeschooler, so hopefully y'all can relate. Please say you can relate. What better way to represent America than this book called League of American Traitors? It's literally in the name, American. So this book is by Matthew Landis. Had to read the name because I haven't read this book yet. I'm not familiar with it, but I bought it, and so I'm going to read it, hopefully, one day. And here's how this one thing describes it. It's National Treasure meets Hamilton. How epic is that going to be? Because I watched National Treasure like once, and it was really cool. I thought it was very informative too. It was so cool. Anyway, also Hamilton. I am a total fan of Hamilton. Basically anything Lin-Manuel write, I'll listen to. Like Encanto. I'm obsessed with Encanto, by the way. Yeah. Hamilton is one of my favorite musicals. I love it. Me and Louise went through this period where we really liked Hamilton. And I remember she was like, we were going to watch it because we were going to have a sleepover. And she was watching a video about top 10, 20 songs in Hamilton. And then they began talking about Quiet Uptown and she began to cry. I think she still cried when we watched the musical because it was on Disney Plus, which was amazing, by the way. My friend actually saw Hamilton when it was in Dallas, so that's cool. Anyway, this book follows our main character, who is the descendant of one Benedict Arnold, the infamous American traitor. So our kid Jasper finds out that at a funeral, I think one of his parents' funerals or something, that he is in fact the descendant of America's biggest traitor, Benedict Arnold. And so he gets kind of swept away to this school full of other traitors, and he realizes that maybe Benedict Arnold wasn't a traitor, and he has to kind of repair his family's name, alongside other descendants of notorious traitors. So probably Wilkes Booth, John Wilkes Booth is going to be his descendant is going to be in there. It'll be cool to see how this connects to history and what other traitors there were in history. That'll be cool to learn. So let's move on. The next country Louise put is Egypt. I think I want to visit Egypt one day. That'd be cool. Be very hot, but very cool to do. Egypt has a very rich history. People are still finding out things about Egypt today. There's a whole branch of study. And their mythology was very complex. And so that's going to go into this book, The Kane Chronicles. It's a trilogy, 3 books. The first book's called The Red Pyramid, I believe. Yeah. And so this is by Rick Riordan. It's in the same universe as Percy Jackson. And this series, I've heard, is after the first Percy Jackson series. So you read that before you go on to Heroes of Olympus, read this one, because sometimes they reference the Greek gods and there's multiple god stuff. Anyway, so these 2 kids, their dad is someone who does Egypt stuff. He's really into that. Ever since their mother died, they sort of lived separately. The girl, I'm blanking on their name, sorry. The girl lives in England with her grandparents, and of course the son lives with his father. And so then they meet up like once or twice a year, and on Christmas they're meeting up and they go to the museum with Egyptian stuff, and basically their dad kind of gets captured, I think, or something, and this leads to them finding out that the Egyptian gods are in fact real, and now they have to deal with a bunch of people, the gods themselves, monsters, and magicians, which are basically, they're half-bloods, the magicians, like they study like a certain god and use the power. And I think that's actually like illegal now. Like you can be a magician, you just can't do that. And these two characters figure out that they actually can be kind of like avatars sort of for two of the gods. It's like in their blood, and they have to deal with the god of evil, Set. That's his name. At least in the first book. They have to deal with him and get their father back and learn secrets from their own past. So that's really cool. I totally recommend it. I really enjoyed that trilogy. It had the total Percy Jackson writing style, with the funny commentary and the hilarious chapter names. So if you're a fan of Percy Jackson, read that before you read Heroes of Olympus. Fight me on that. And the last one is Vietnam. Why did I say like Vietnam? Vietnam. I do not know too much about Vietnam, which is one reason I really liked reading the book that I read. It is called A Pho Love Story. That's how it's pronounced. So it follows, or I forgot. I think I know their names, but I think I kind of forgot how to say them. If I saw them, maybe I would, but I think they could have some special pronunciation. Anyway, so these characters, each of them, have parents, and these parents own Vietnam restaurants, and these restaurants are rivals to each other. The families despise each other. They're always trying to like be petty and stuff about the other family, and each of these families, of course, has a kid. Our main characters, and these main characters have always been kind of background figures in their lives. They've seen each other, and they just haven't really talked because, if their parents found out, that'd be traitorous, that'd be scandalous, all that stuff. So one of them he's not really sure what he's going to do in life. He has to figure that out though, because he's like a senior, and of course you have to be in college immediately after you're a senior. No, you don't. And then our girl, she wants to be an artist, but her parents don't really want her to be. They don't take it seriously. They think it's like a hobby, which as an artist myself is kind of offensive, because art is amazing. You can get paid a lot for it if you know how to do it. And you may be poor at one point, but you know what? I think I'd rather be poor doing what I love than rich doing something that kills me inside. I don't know. I could be naive, but that's my thoughts on it. Anyway, so these two characters meet, and they form a friendship and have to do stuff for the school paper. So they become really good friends, and then they fall in love and start dating, and of course, they're trying to figure out a good way to be able to be together and stay alive without their parents killing them for doing the unthinkable, falling in love with the rival family. Anyway, so they're also trying to figure out why their families hate each other so much, so maybe they can fix it and they can be together without the family drama. Because we hate family drama is awful. So that is my book. You learn about Vietnamese culture stuff because, of course, the parents are from Vietnam, and it ties back to Vietnam a lot. And I don't really know a lot about Vietnam, but I've learned considerable from this book. Anyway, those are my books. Those are my countries. I don't own them, like the countries. And where am I going with this? I don't know. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. Please, if you're a booktuber, feel free to use this tag, whatever it is. And hope you enjoyed it. And do you want me to do this again? Because there are a lot of countries out there, and I have a lot of books, and I've read a lot of books. So I can help with that. Have a great day. Have a happy 4th of July. And if you guys are in a different country, happy 4th of July. You can celebrate your own country's uniqueness and culture, even if it's on an American holiday. But anyway, have a great day. Remember, Jesus loves you, and don't be afraid to explore other cultures and countries, even if it's just through books.